Hey guys, Kev here, and I have an interesting project here. So, I ordered what are called taco bearings, and essentially they are what you would consider aftermarket bearings, like skiffs or whatever. They don't seem to be phosphor bronze; they seem to be brass caged, but they're solid cages. And then there's your bearings, right? But they come with this set of washers, and I guess the reason they're called taco bearings is because you put a washer on the outside of each bearing. Um, that's how I understand it. Is there one washer in here or two? So this is what I don't understand. And then it came with 4 extra washers, it looks like. Is it 4? And some spare balls, but I'm guessing these are separate. So yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. It looks like there's 2 washers in here. There's probably 2 in here, and I just don't see it. And if there's not, I can take one out of there. So on this knife, it makes perfect sense to me because you'll see when I take it apart, there's no steel washer in here against the titanium. So the bearings run right on the titanium, which some people would say is not the best. Some people would argue it doesn't make a difference. Once it creates that track, it's going to stay there, right? It's not going to wear it out even more. But some people will argue you want to run on steel. So it makes sense for these to have that washer in there, and then you'll sandwich the bearing between that washer and the blade, making it a taco, I guess. And then I have the Vero here, which is a lefty axon, and I don't know. I can't, the action's good, right? But in order to have no play, which there is no play on there, I'm not getting like droppy action or anything. And I have skiffs in here, so I'm thinking, let's try something else and we'll see what happens, right? So let's start with the Roosevelt here. Put everything to the side. And I'm fairly certain that's what you're supposed to do. It's going to be a T8 for the body screws. So let's take this guy out with the T6s. We shouldn't need that at all. We'll put the T8 in there, and then we'll need a T15 for the, this is a T10. Yeah, it's bigger than that. I need a T15. Here we go. T15. So that'll take this guy apart. I have learned from Daniel Osborne that you can take this apart without having to use 2 drivers. So first I'm just going to try using pressure. Nope. Pretty sure I came in at it from this side, but maybe it is this side. I don't know. Try this one. I have it Loctited, so there it is. Okay. I'm pretty sure I saw Daniel Osborne saying he takes it apart, puts it together from the lock side. So maybe the pivot is the other way around on some of his knives. I don't know. All right, cover your eyes. Obviously, I will be cleaning all this stuff. What I like to do is take some alcohol, make a little pool, and start dropping hardware and such in there. And then I'll put it over here on my cup holder, all right? Oh, I need this guy. I think I Loctited these as well to be safe. I saw a guy on Facebook said his body screws fell out. And I was like, oh god, I might need to Loctite these. And I do apologize if Daniel watches this. I called him David in my one video. And that was just sheer stupidity. I knew his name, but I just said Daniel on accident. Just wriggle this a little bit until it comes off. There we go. It's a nice pin there. Keeps it in place, which is nice. You can see Wow, I don't know what was going on there. I put far too much Loctite, or I've just been flipping the absolute bejesus out of this, and it has turned it black, which is awesome. You can see the bearing tracks in there, especially on this side, it looks like. Look at that. See the marks on the bearing sitting there, so interesting. I want to give a shout out to Mitty on Instagram. That is the person who told me about these bearings and how they used them for the Roosevelt. So I want to give credit where credit is due. Now, I don't know if they're going to be my favorite bearings ever, but I always like to try new things, and obviously it's cool. So thank you to Mitty for the idea. And let's see, let's clean this guy off. Clean the edge up. Been using it. Been using it a fair amount. Obviously, it's an expensive knife. It's a really good knife. So I haven't been abusing it, but I've definitely been using it. Look at that. Just coated in black juice. I don't think it's normally that color. Let's see. Gentle. Yeah, you can see there. That's the color it really is. Doesn't look like we got much inside, so we're good there. Grab the pivot screw. All right, let me get this knife out of the way. All right, so what we want are these bearings, right? I didn't clean this side. Okay, sorry, so I'm just cleaning up everything in the alcohol. This is the Gillian bearing that was in there, one of them anyway. They lose their color a little bit, their phosphor bronze color, but that's it. You can see the black and white ceramic balls. I will say, you never kind of feel them moving when you do this. Like, if you feel other bearings, sometimes you can feel the bearings moving around. So I don't know if that's because they require the kind of pressure from, you know, the pivot closing to actually move around, or if they're literally just stationary and they're just smooth so it still works. I don't know. It's interesting to me how it does seem to be like that on aftermarket bearings. All right, so I need the 1/4 inch ones. That's gonna be these, so put these aside. I hope I don't need that. Now, my theory was taco bearings, and it does say oil bearing balls and detent ball tighten body screws before installing the main pivot. These came from New York. So let's see. They're super thin washers. And then you have the bearings. So let's feel. Yeah, same kind of thing here. You don't really feel the balls moving. And I'm guessing they only want you to put the bearing on, or the washer on one side. But that doesn't really make it a taco then, does it? I feel like you would, essentially, you should have to do this for it to be a taco, right? But I guess the blade acts as one side. I don't know. Interesting name choice, I guess, for that. I'm assuming I'm doing this right. So let's take our KPL original. Shout out to Knife Pivot Lube. Of course, you can go to knifepivotlube.com and you can order anything you need in terms of maintenance. They have Q-tips, they have rust preventatives, rust removers. They have lots of lube for different types of knives. They have a lot going on, guys. So just want to shout them out. So let's put our pivot back in. There she is. Doesn't really matter which way she's in there. We're going to put a little bit of oil down so that washer sits in there nicely. You're going to notice that these washers don't have tracks on either side. That's because they're brand new. They will, so it doesn't matter which side I put down. There we go. So it fits right in there. So now these bearings are going to run on the steel washer instead of on the titanium scale, which is probably a good thing if we're being honest. I would certainly prefer that if I had the choice. So I don't know if anybody's ever just tried using these bearings without the washer. I mean, that's what I'm curious about with the Axon, because it already has steel washers. Why would I need another washer? You know, I don't think the thickness is thinner. Like, let's take the Gillian and this and see. See, it seems like they're the same thickness. Honestly, this one might even be thicker. So it's not like you need the washer to get the thickness. It does seem like the balls on this are bigger. Wider, anyway, than these. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. So it runs on the steel. I don't know. I have no idea. We're going to find out if it works the way I'm doing it. I'm assuming you don't need 2 washers per thing, but, you know, I could be wrong. So we're going to put it in like this. So we need to put, oh, jeez, new bottle here. There we go. I need to put a little bit of heavy on our detent ball like we were told to do, or detent track. In this case, we have 2 detent balls. He also says, Daniel Osborne that is, says he puts a little bit on the edge here where the detent balls are going to sit when closed. So when this blade closes, or I'm sorry, opens, it locks up onto those ceramic balls right here. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. I'm going to wipe that up because it was way too much. Probably won't even notice it, but that's fine. All right, we are all lubed up. We have our washer in, okay. Now we can put a little more original down. Just a little dabby dab here and there. All right, you can put our other bearing over, spin it around. And then we need to get this guy in here. So we're going to put some oil in to get it sticky. And we're going to drop this guy in here. And what that does is allow the bearing or the washer not to fall out. It's sticking now to the scale because of that. In case you're wondering, because sometimes you'll do it and then the freaking washer will keep falling out when you try to do what I'm about to do. I am going to put the blade at a 90-degree angle because I am told, yeah, see, that's the thing. I was wondering how that would work. So I'm not going to do that. I think Daniel Osborne usually does it from the other side. So I think he puts the pivot on the other side, if I'm not mistaken. But then I have to do body screws differently. Maybe we can try it. Let's see. I don't think it'll make a difference functionally. Pivot's still moving in there perfectly fine, no issues. I do want to clean that up. And I do want to put a drop of oil on the pivot just so it is clean. But watch. So now we can take a bearing, put it here. Just repeat the process backwards. But this way we can put it like that and close it, if that makes sense. Body screws are on the other side. That's just the way it came apart. So this will be tricky, but we'll figure it out, guys. Don't you worry. Trying to get that stop pin in place, and I just can't seem to find it. Seems to be there, but that doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. That's where the backspacer lines up. There we go. Okay. I can't tell. It's really hard. There we go. All right, we are in position. I know this is weird. I apologize. It's just how I happened to take it apart. And how whoever, I think somebody before me put it together backwards. Put the pivot in the wrong way. We'll find out for sure. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but... Do you want to use Loctite? Now, I'm not sure it's, in the best position, if the bearings are going to work, but I'm going to assume that they will, so. Very tiny pivot screw, which is what's throwing me off here. Should be enough. No play of any kind. Now I haven't. I don't know what that sound is. Do you hear that? Screw went in this side right here. So let's do this. Hang on. Tighten those down. Try it one more time, see if it has that sound. I don't know if that's the new bearings. Or if I got something in there. Wow, okay, it's smooth, that's for sure. Just to be safe, I kind of want to clean it. Just make sure before we do anything else that we're all clean. But this time I'm going to take these screws out. Oh, do you see that? I hope that's oil, not a chip. Okay, yeah. Okay. I could leave it. No, I need to check in here too. Alright. I don't see anything crunchy in there. That's what I was hearing. I don't know if you guys heard it. There we go. Found it. Looked like there was something on the detent ball. On one of them, anyway, it looks like. Looks like we're good now. Sorry guys, I'm trying to focus. It's a very expensive knife to me, and I don't Don't want to ruin it, so I'm just being careful. Way too much. Just came off. That wasn't my intention. I'm just trying to get a dab onto these guys. I don't even know if that'll hold, to be honest, but... Uh-oh. I think we're good. You hear that crunch? Like, I just don't know what that is. You see, it just doesn't feel right. Something's off. And it's every time I tighten this down, it's like making this creaking sound. And I've noticed it before with the body screws. I don't know if it's part of the knife design, like something... I wonder if it's the, I wonder if it's the Loctite from my first go around was stuck down there, like, that's why it's making that cracky sound. I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but to me it's like plain as day, and it's a big issue. So is this, like, it doesn't stay together, which is weird. I think I'm gonna do something. Probably should. Can I do it? Like, be careful. Wonder if I can push the pivot through. I'm just gonna reverse the pivot back because I feel like I didn't really have issues the way it was, you know? So maybe I'm better off just leaving it alone. And it'll give me another chance to check everything. I don't see anything wrong. I don't see any like crunchy stuff in here. So weird. Yeah, I don't see any reason for it to be doing that. Other than maybe there's just far too much oil in here somewhere. I don't know. But, alright, so I'm going to do it this way, right? That's where I had it. Yeah. Could also be a break-in type thing, you know? Or there's something inside the pivot, and that's what's causing the issue. Nope, it's clean. Alright, let's try this. Jesus. I mean, the bearings are all there. They're fine. Still got plenty of oil on everything, so that's not going to be an issue. Unless I'm supposed to put a washer against the blade. That's the only other thing I can think of, but it just seems dumb. Why would you just have washers at that point, right? Look at that. Hear it? And I wonder if that's just because they're new bearings. You know, they have to wear in a path, and that's what they sound like. I don't know. I've never heard bearings sound like that before, but if I'm gonna try them, I gotta give them a shot, right? I can't just say it sounds weird and put the other ones back in. So let's give these give it the old college try, huh? It's dead centered. Sorry, I got shit all over my hands. I'm trying here. It's hard. Yeah, I mean, it's just as smooth as it was, so there's no pain there. I don't think there's any difference. So I think it's the more so than the bearings, it's the lock bar that's causing the causing the not drop shut, if that makes sense. You're not going to get it any smoother than it is. I'm going to go ahead and use the liquid. It's just going to be so much easier to apply to the threads. I already got plenty on here. Oh god, way too much. But it's nice and in the threads, which is good. Tighten that. Dead centered. Flies open. no play. Oh. Are we too tight? What is going on? Literally. We had it, right? I don't know what happened here. Whatever that is back. What is going on with this thing? What did I do, guys? You hear all that? That's what I'm saying. When I tighten it, it makes this cracky sound. So maybe I was just over tightening it somehow. I don't know. There we go. I mean, there's no play. It's dropping. I'd say we're good. Dead centered. No weird sounds. No play at all. Can you spin it? All right, this is perfect, guys. I am going to let this sit now. Let me double check these for tightness. I keep worrying that, like, it's gonna start having blade play. But I don't think that can happen if yeah. All right, I need to let it lock tight. So this is going over here. I know this has already been way too long. But you know what? Probably not even worth it to put them in here, considering this already does that. I think I'm just being a baby about these. So I might just scrap this one. We'll let this just stay the way it is. That way I don't have to take a whole nother knife apart for you guys that you don't care about seeing. So that was the taco bearing. I mean, that was interesting. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. We'll see. It'll lock tight, and then hopefully those bearings break in, much like these type do, and they get even smoother. But this is that's basically how this one felt at first, and they didn't get any better. It's already really good, you know what I mean? It's just, knives aren't going to just start dropping shut left and right. You know, if the lock bar tension is there, that's just what it is. It's not the bearings, you know. But I do like that it's now riding on steel instead of titanium. That's probably better for longevity, if you know what I mean. I might just start trying these bearings in general, but they're kind of pricey for that. They were like $23 or something because they're the taco bearings. So it's probably not worth it to just have them be regular bearings without using that washer. But if I took that axon apart, it would have washers already. So, you know, I feel like these are made for knives that run on titanium. That's my theory. I mean, it's not a theory, it's common sense. But so anyway, we got some extra stuff here for whatever comes in, and we'll see how that goes. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching. tuning into my nonsense. It's another disassembly of the Oz Roosevelt. Not a very good one. You've probably seen it from a million angles at this point. I'd be interested to hear Daniel's answer to that crunchy sound, if he knows what that is, because I've had it happen on the screws, now the pivot. I thought when I did it on the screws, it was because there was like Loctite in there from the last guy, so I cleaned it all out and retightened them, but I don't know. Now I'm wondering if it just has something to do with the way things are finished or something. But, I mean, bearings are very smooth. They ride on the pivot very well. Again, no play. Drops down just like before. And honestly, might be a touch smoother, and we'll see how it breaks in. So I can't complain about these bearings. You know, I can't necessarily say they're like better or as good as these yet. We'll see. Are they worth 20 whatever dollars? I think if your knife is running on titanium, yes, because that'll really help you. You know, it could help the action, it could help longevity, it could help a lot of things. And you're going to be on ceramic bearings in a lot of cases with those knives that run on titanium. Like, here's an example. My Gavco Nurse. These would be a good option for that because it runs on titanium. If I put these in there, it would be running on steel. That might be something I'll look into. So anyway, that's it, guys. Appreciate you letting me rant and rave as usual. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.